In a city with a thriving art scene, theaters, museums, and the world's largest music festival, one show and one man, truly one of a kind.
More stuff.
Michael Lorenz
Okay.
is better known by a sound than a name.
My nickname is Ding.
He's a man that moves to the beat of his own drums.
Here are the Tim's.
Hundreds of them.
Think of a pinball machine, and I'm the ball.
Lorenz is the staff percussionist at Skylight Music Theater.
Well, I always kind of prided myself on being the class clown.
He's also the ringleader of the circus that is Things That Go Ding. Part concert, part vaudeville variety act, and a way to show off his spectacular collection.
Just kind of the tip of the iceberg.
That's right, somehow a show with 250 instruments only begins to scratch the surface. There is so much more at his Milwaukee area home.
Which I like to also call the Percussion Insane Asylum.
One look at the living room and you might assume Ding is off his rhythmic rocker.
Yeah, kind of jaw-dropping.
Imagine bringing a date back to this place.
I didn't want her, like, walking in the place and then go screaming off into the night.
But home is where the heart is, right? And this place is a testament to a lifelong love affair with music and comedy.
From the Circus World Museum, we have a dozen red noses.
Lorenz has been cracking jokes and beating drums since he was just a few years old.
Other drummers will relate. It's inside of you. It's just something you have to do.
A career in different bands, tours, and productions took him all over the country.
I just walked into a music store in Cleveland and found that big old drum.
The result is this, one of the largest private collections of modern and vintage percussion instruments in the world.
Oh, and then the worst, the very worst of this whole thing, eBay came along.
He's acquired thousands of instruments, but Lorenz makes an important distinction.
I'm not a hoarder, I'm an organized collector.
And first and foremost, he's a musician.
I'm gonna jump around a little bit. I don't really collect instruments, I collect sounds. A fight gong, round one.
Of the many pieces, large and small, some have history.
It was built in 1935.
Some have character.
Her name is Henrietta, by the way.
Some are reclaimed, recycled, and reused. And some have the simplest explanations of all.
Why Corona? Because that's my favorite beer.
It was at this house,
D and a C sharp.
probably after a few Coronas, where the idea for the show was hatched.
We tried to take a lot of real highbrow music and perform it as best we can, but in a very lowbrow manner.
Ah, good.
For the first time, Things That Go Ding is now taking over Skylight's premier stage.
I joke, now I've made the big time in the Cabot.
Decades of playing, procuring, and perfecting a craft and a collection has built to this crescendo.
You'll never see anything like this anywhere else again in the world.
Michael Ding Lorenz is ready to bring down the house.
I'm in my element. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Beat by furious beat. Carl Deffenbaugh, Fox 6 News.
Great, here we go. My plan is to just prep the wall. Because it's the galvanized metal, it really just needs to be scuffed and cleaned before it's painted. Scuff pads, buckets of soapy water. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Just don't look down. Yeah, it probably has never been washed.
Daisy has really been committed to West Wisconsin Avenue.
And it just seemed like such an awesome opportunity to be a part of this community. This is probably 4 square feet, 4,000 more to go.
It's fun to watch. The artist had some type of a method to it.
Let's go up and hope that I brought the colors that I needed. Yes, it's the start. Okay.
Did you be here until probably like 7 or 7:30?
It's our largest mural project to date and probably most visible.
How would I visually describe it? It's gonna be a floral piece. Great, beautiful life, colors.
So we had a committee of around 12 people review the submissions. We really had an amazing, international caliber artist that submitted to the project. Really, we felt very compelled with one. Emma Daisy Gertel really put together a proposal that just really struck a chord with all of us.
This is the right color.
When she started doing it, it just kind of just brightened all of our mood.
I would show up the next morning and more would be done.
And just see people come in and watch it. It's amazing.
The most challenging part is just the surface. Physically, it's a challenge. The biggest issue for me right now is that I'm giving myself carpal tunnel. It's been a fun experience getting to know some of the people who are regulars in the neighborhood.
When I saw her start, I was like, I'm really curious how it's going to look overall.
Every day coming, no matter rain, sun, she's out here.
When people yell up to me, looks great. Thank you.
When she completes something, it's a nice surprise.
I've also been hustling to maintain the schedule.
The conditions on West Wisconsin Avenue are definitely something to note, making these projects a little bit more challenging. Fighting through seagulls.
Sticking his tail feathers out.
It was a very large undertaking, and Daisy definitely rose to the occasion.
3.5 weeks of time.
Came up like that.
4,500 square feet.
275 cans.
It means a lot to have it here.
I love public art and what public art can do.
Really speaks volumes of what's happening in Westtown.
The title of this work, Westtown in Bloom, is to signify and give credence to the life that we wish to see blossom here. This is our collective garden, so I hope that you feel that.
I see.
EMS arriving to room 1.
To anyone not wearing scrubs,
Respiratory rate was 16.
the hospital can be a pretty intimidating place. From the emergency department's nerve center, the corral, to the long, quiet hallways that lead to more procedures. The unfamiliarity of it all can bring more stress
Doing okay?
to an already unnerving predicament. But at Aurora West Alice Medical Center, not all the hallways are so quiet. Just listen. The thing about John Malera is that you often hear him before you actually see him.
Please don't leave me, girl.
It's impossible not to notice the bedside baritone,
I don't mind weeping.
whose official title is imaging assistant, a job that requires him to wheel patients to and from procedures.
Please don't leave me.
That's what he gets paid to do. The singing part, John throws that in for free.
Baby, please don't leave me, girl.
How are his pipes? Is he any good?
Yeah, he good. That's why I told him, I said, 65. He's good.
He should be good. He did plenty of amateur theater, sang in his Navy boot camp chorus, and has a Spotify-worthy collection of classics stored in his brain.
And you've had the contrast before, right?
And when the time is just right,
You know about the warm feeling.
and the patient has been briefed on the business of the transport,
And they will let you know before they start the contrast.
the show begins.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
Covering the standards is tough enough, but doing it while moving and putting patient comfort top of mind,
A couple of bumps along the way.
well, that's what makes these cartside concerts so endearing.
Okay, we got a left turn coming up.
Very nice.
What does it do?
Soothing.
Soothing?
That's what all I can say is soothing.
Yeah.
John's been on the other side of that gurney.
I spent 5 days in a burn ward where I burned this part of my hand. I know how terrifying a hospital is.
And once, while working in a Pennsylvania hospital, he realized an impromptu lullaby was the only thing he could do to soothe an agitated and potentially dangerous patient.
It was requiring all hands on deck in the emergency department. So all I could think of was, I can't let him hit anybody, and we have to try to calm him down. So I held him by the wrists so he wouldn't be able to throw any more elbows, and I just started singing Brahms' Lullaby with words that I was making up.
Other dancers may be on the floor.
And thus, a bit was born.
But my eyes can
That reinforces that, yeah, this is something that I have to do every day, that I have to make sure that each patient has a little bit of a better experience because it is terrifying.
The reviews are glowing. Letters to the hospital include thank yous like, "He melted my heart," and "just beautiful, brought tears to my eyes that someone would be so kind and thoughtful."
Anything from Dean Martin.
I turn to see.
He takes requests, and yes, some requests that he just stay quiet.
She was 78, sweetest old lady, and she told me, she used the F word. She said, "Shut the F up."
But even with a pounding pain in her head, watch how patient Janelle Thorson warms to the serenade. First smiling, then singing to this Looking Glass classic.
He sang to you.
Yeah.
Well, did that help at all?
A little. Made me smile. When you're in a lot of pain, when somebody's singing or the cheerfulness makes you smile a little bit, takes your mind off the pain.
You want them to concentrate on relaxing. Just get out of the moment for just a little bit, 10 seconds. If I can make one person smile, I've earned my paycheck.
Lying here.
One doctor told me he welcomes John singing because a relaxed patient
Jesus free
is an easier one to treat. And John hopes others are as open.
Hold me closer, tiny dancer.
I get to do what I do because I have such a great team backing me. Because I have a technologist who tolerates this, because if I had people who didn't want to hear this and just wanted me to shut up, that's the end of the ballgame.
Yes, I think to myself.
The game's not over, John. You keep on singing, because that is making this a wonderful world.
Oh, yeah.